This is the first ever critical mass video done inside an automobile. The first ever, and you're here to see it. Now, we can't use our big high-tech luxurious critical mass studio because Don is off in China living his best life and earning money. So I guess I'm gonna have to do a car review, and let's see how this works out.
Open up the car door. We've been waiting for you. With opinions from Mark and Don and Paul, here's a movie review. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I just got out of the movie Hustlers, and to tell you the truth, I had no idea what this movie was going to be. I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know the rating. I just knew that, well, there's a movie out this week, so I have to review it. And was I in for a little bit of a surprise? So there's a bit of a theme going on this year. You remember the movie The Kitchen, or maybe the review we did of The Kitchen, and it's about a group of women who start building up their own little drug empire and start living the high life, and they're all happy, and then it all crumbles at the end. Well, now you know the plot line of Hustlers, except you're starting off with a little bit of a slice of life of stripperhood. You have a brand new stripper going into the club for her first time. She wants to make some money, and well, she doesn't know how. She's a real rookie at it. So she comes into contact with, I guess you would call her the grand dame of the strip club. All the men just throw all their money at her, and she does her show, and she's an expert. So the rookie, played by Constance Wu, introduces herself to the grand dame, which is Jennifer Lopez. And they start up a little bit of a friendship, and Jennifer Lopez, whose character name is Ramona, pledges to mentor Constance Wu, whose character's name is Destiny. So Ramona does her little spiel and teaches Destiny the ropes, and Destiny starts making more money, and as the two progress in their mentorship, they become like sisters. So without getting too spoilerish, they go along and they're making lots of money from Wall Street executives that go into the club and just throw all their money at the girls. But then the year 2008 hits, and that's the financial crisis. Big recession, nobody has any money to throw at the girls. So the dancers are experiencing hard times. They have to do something else. So what they start doing is fishing. So they would bring or target very wealthy men, bring them into the club, and there they would feed them some date rape drug, and then max out the gentleman's credit card. Okay, so this is pretty criminal, but the men don't turn in the dancers because they don't want their wives to find out, or ruin their reputation, whatever. So the girls get off scot-free, and they start raking in the dough. So much so that they have to recruit outside help to make their group bigger and fish more men. They become very good at it, but then Destiny starts to feel like they're taking things a little bit too far, and they do. Some men get hurt. One man who has lost it all, he lost his house in a fire, he lost his wife, and then they took all his money in this fishing scam. He turns them in, and everything crumbles. Their little organized crime ring falls to the ground. Now, what you're in for with this movie is a lot of slice of life material. But be prepared, because the slice of life that you're going to see is like the stripper slice of life. So the first half hour of the movie is inside a strip club doing what strippers do. It's a lot of dancing, lots of no clothes, lots of erotic moving. So if you're okay with that, then fine. This movie is rated 14A, at least in Canada, which means a 14-year-old and above can go see it. Anybody less has to go with an adult. So there's not a lot of, sexual nudity. There's none of that. It's basically, if you see nudity, it's going to be the ladies in the dressing room between their acts kind of thing. So I was getting really annoyed at the whole stripper slice of life aspect of this. I didn't know that that's what it was going to be, and okay, it seems like a sisterhood movie and stripper stuff. I just wasn't really interested in it until I remembered that it was actually based on a true story. Once you understand that it's based on a true story, you say, okay, well, they're developing these characters. These are the characters in real life. They're not just doing this stylistically. So I can go with that. And to tell you the truth, the acting was really solid. And surprise of all surprises, Jennifer Lopez was amazing. Like, I thought she was a joke after that movie Gigli with Ben Affleck. But she really strutted her stuff on the screen this time. I was really impressed with her. Constance Wu was really good. Julia Stiles was in the movie, and I always liked her. And Lily Reinhart, I think she's Betty on Riverdale, on the Netflix series. They all did a fantastic job, very well acted. And the one thing that this movie did right is that it developed not only the characters, but it showed us how they got from point A to point B, which is something The Kitchen didn't do, and I think that was my major gripe with The Kitchen. Like they decided to become crime bosses, and then they are crime bosses, and you really didn't see how that unfolded and how they got from A to B. This movie did that. So it had the inciting incident, it had their ups, it had the moment where all is lost. At the end of the movie, the relationship between Ramona and Destiny is a solid one. They've had a falling out because of how their criminal empire crumbled to the ground, but even beyond that catastrophe, even though they've lost connection with each other, you feel the love that they have for each other, and it is like they became true sisters. I think that was a successful aspect of this film. Do I recommend you go see this movie at the theater? Well, sure, it's a good movie, but you have to be aware that the subject matter is strippers and them date raping men for their cash. So it's going to be distasteful, really. So if you're in the mood for a drama along those lines, it's well acted, and I did feel like I watched a satisfying story by the end. Now, if you're not in the mood for that kind of content, I'd say maybe skip it. You don't have to see every movie that's decent out there, especially if it's not one of the subject matter that you would normally watch. So I would give this, for a true story drama, I'd give this a 7. It wasn't perfect, but it was a really satisfying story although it wasn't really up my alley subject-wise. So, thanks for tuning into Critical Mass and our first ever car review. And we hope to see you again. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll be back in the studio in not too long.